Wakanda forever!
Dang, Wakanda really is forever when you have hundreds of different versions of the Black Panther around. Today we focus on the protector of Wakanda, the greatest warrior of a wildly advanced nation, and perhaps one of the greatest heroes on the planet. Many people have held the mantle, and some who have held the mantle have gone on to hold others as well. The jungle cat-like reflexes and regal presence are iconic notifiers of the Black Panther, and with an untold number of universes and stories, there is a lot to choose from. Which one ranks the highest, and which one falls short? Let's find out right now. Very recently in the comics, we may have been introduced to the most powerful version of the Black Panther ever, when a multiversal Killmonger came through the timeline and wiped out T'Challa's whole family. He used a vibranium rocket to escape. He eventually re-engineered this rocket to be armor, and operated as the hero known as Vibranium Man. When he finally challenged King Killmonger, he was no match, and was actually thrown into a star. Saved by the Ghost Rider and the protective armor he has, T'Challa emerged with some of the greatest power we have ever seen, becoming the official Star Panther. T'Challa now had supersonic flight and strength on the levels of someone like Superman. He is easily the most powerful new ally in fighting the multiversal Masters of Evil, and Star Panther is likely the strongest Black Panther ever. Nothing is cooler than when comics take two characters and combine them, such as in the Warp World event. That is, unless you take those combined characters and combine them with other combined characters. In the Warp World event, an amalgamation called Ghost Panther was created, which don't worry, we'll get to. The Ghost Rider and Black Panther were then even further combined when the universe folded in half again, with the hero known as Iron Hammer to create the stupidly powerful hero known as Ghost Hammer. With the combined powers of T'Challa, Ghost Rider, Iron Man, and Thor, this character basically couldn't be beaten. He wielded such incredible power that no villain could stand a chance. Imagine if that world folds again. This dude is basically just Apocalypse. Ngozi was a Nigerian woman and hopeful track star before an accident left her in a wheelchair for what would be the rest of her life. However, one day she found herself in the midst of a brawl between Rhino and T'Challa, the Black Panther, who were fighting over a vial of the Venom symbiote. Rhino actually ended T'Challa's life and caused the symbiote to find its way to Ngozi. She used her new abilities to walk again, and fought so well that she took the Rhino out. Ngozi had a certain ability to command the symbiote, so that it did not control her. Her abilities impressed the Dora Milaje, who named her the interim Black Panther and successor to the late King of Wakanda. With the combined powers of Venom and the Black Panther, it's safe to say there's no messing around with Ngozi. In another universe, there probably exists entire worlds made up of versions of the Black Panther, but we don't know about those yet. What we do know, however, is the universe of the Captain Britain Corps, made up of versions of Marvel heroes who all possess the power of Brian Braddock, that are known as Captain Britain. This universe's version of the Black Panther is known as Chieftain Justice. He possesses all of the usual powers that he and Captain Britain actually share, such as strength, speed, and the whole nine. This version of T'Challa, however, also has the ability to store interdimensional energy, which allows him to fly and create powerful energy blasts. With the multiverse wide open and Captain Carter already existing in multiple universes, the Captain Britain Corps and Chieftain Justice may not be far behind. As previously mentioned, the first amalgamation caused by the Warp World event was a hero known as Ghost Panther. When Gamora used the Infinity Stones to fold the world in half, several heroes' powers and backstories were combined into one. Heroes such as the Soldier Supreme and the Iron Hammer were born. Ghost Panther was a version of the Black Panther with a devilish twist. With the strength and speed of the Black Panther, T'Challa was also granted with the power of the Spirit of Vengeance. He could access the underworld and burn the souls of the wrongdoers he came across, giving the once kind ruler of Wakanda an uncontrollable desire to destroy his enemies. Overall, these two were a match made in, well, I don't want to say heaven, but you get the point. The Mangaverse is home to some wild adaptations of familiar Marvel characters. Black Panther is certainly no exception. T'Challa of this universe actually owes his powers to an Egyptian god, and beyond the normal set of Black Panther abilities, the Mangaverse Panther is the first of few versions who can actually transform himself into a panther. His connection to an Egyptian deity gives him untold power as well, as he can channel different spirits and use their powers. This gives him the ability to transform into a falcon, among other things. Overall, the Mangaverse may be a wild ride, but it certainly gave us one of the most powerful Black Panthers in the multiverse. One of the strongest variants of the Black Panther comes from the MC2 alternate timeline, where Mayday Parker became Spider-Woman. This version of the Wakandan hero was actually T'Chaka II, son of King T'Challa, and he had a unique ability not seen by many Black Panthers. T'Chaka II, better known as Cole Tiger, can completely transform himself into a panther-human hybrid, meaning all the other powers that Black Panthers have that simply mimic that of a panther are actually possessed by this powerful variant. Cole Tiger helped rescue his universe's version of the Avengers from an entire evil team, the Revengers. His powers are literally animalistic in nature, and his strength far surpasses anyone whose strength comes from an herb. Overall, Cole Tiger would be a terrifying hero to fight against, and could likely defeat just about any villain he comes across. Shuri is the sister to T'Challa, and took on the mantle in the comics when T'Challa fell into a coma during the Doom War event. Shuri not only took the heart-shaped herb to gain all of the same powers as her brother, but she took it one step further. Shuri entered the spiritual plane of existence known as the Dajalia, and here she gained powers that helped her far surpass other ranks of Black Panthers. She gained the incredible ability to turn her body into impervious stone, as if the impenetrable vibranium suit wasn't enough. This also helped her pack a much harder punch. She also gained a metamorphic ability and could transform herself or others into birds. These powers and Shuri's successful attack on Namor and Atlantis helped cement Shuri as one of the greatest Black Panthers of all time. A group of heroes known as the Stone Age Avengers existed in the prehistory of Earth 616, and contained some of the strongest versions of Doctor Strange, Thor, Hulk, and even the Black Panther. This version of the character from 1 million BC was one of the most powerful, even though he wore a panther pelt as a costume, foregoing the traditional vibranium weave. He had all the same powers of every other Black Panther, but this version is most notable as the first character besides Odin and Thor to be able to wield Mjolnir. He was able to attain the powers of his teammate Thor, and was granted abilities of an Asgardian god. This made his ability to fight on a level far surpassing that of future Black Panthers, though I'm sure one of them could lift the hammer if they tried. The quintessential Black Panther in both the comics and the MCU is of course King T'Challa. T'Challa's power derived from the heart-shaped herb combined with his leadership ability puts him on par with characters like Captain America. T'Challa in the comics has wielded the Infinity Gauntlet and single-handedly defeated some of the most powerful villains Marvel has to offer. He is extremely wise and chooses peace when possible, such as his formation of a partnership with the Jabari, and his sparing Baron Zemo's life, but he is still able to lay the beat down where necessary, and killed his extremely powerful cousin Killmonger. Overall, King T'Challa is one of the most powerful heroes in the MCU, and he easily stands as one of the most powerful to hold the mantle he made famous. He may be gone in the MCU, but something tells me that even his legacy will continue to inspire heroes for years to come. For a very brief time, Eric Killmonger was believed to have defeated T'Challa, and was given the heart-shaped herb and the title of Black Panther. Eric was a skilled warrior even without the herb, training his entire life to fight T'Challa, bringing war to every place he went. As the Black Panther, he was vicious and cruel, killing members of the Dora Milaje, nearly killing his own cousin Shuri, and prepared to use Wakanda's resources to wage war on the world. T'Challa barely defeated him in the rematch, but the fate of the world could have gone much differently. In fact, we saw it do just that in What If, when Killmonger was able to use Tony Stark's tech to take over Wakanda, and then nearly destroyed the entire multiverse when he gained control of the Infinity Stones.
Hand over the stones, cousin.
I'm not your cousin. I'm sorry it has to end this way.
Overall, Killmonger's run as the Black Panther was short, but one of the scariest moments for the rest of the world. There's likely no prouder moment than when a father can admit his son has surpassed him. Much like Thor and Odin, I think if we could travel to the ancestral plane, T'Chaka himself would tell us that his son T'Challa became a better Black Panther. But that's not to say that T'Chaka's any slouch. Prior to T'Challa's inheriting and subsequent trial by combat, his father T'Chaka wore the crown and the Black Panther mantle. His life taken much before his time by Baron Zemo, T'Chaka grew to be a very wise warrior and leader along the way. He bartered for peace and helped advance Wakanda even further, allowing his brilliant daughter Shuri to take charge of Wakanda's technological advancements. T'Chaka was a skilled Black Panther, who even had to make the hard decisions like killing his own brother in the name of Wakanda. He then, of course, just forgot to make the harder decision after that and left a kid behind, but that's besides the point. Kasper Cole is a New York City police officer who also had a short run as the Black Panther before adopting his own moniker, and this one is more of a technicality. Kasper Cole found the Black Panther suit in an evidence locker at his police station, and donned it, seeking to enact his own brand of vigilante justice on the criminals of New York. At first, Kasper Cole was nothing special in terms of power, as besides the suit he was simply armed with 2 handguns and no superpowers. However, eventually he gained the powers of the Black Panther, when he took a synthetic version of the heart-shaped herb given to him by Eric Killmonger. Eventually, Kasper Cole joined a team known as the Crew, dedicated to defending the streets of Brooklyn, only after adopting a new moniker. Kasper Cole is better known as the White Tiger, and while his power is incredible and his heart is in the right place, there's no defeating the original. The What If series shows us what would have happened if Yondu picked up T'Challa instead of Peter Quill. And apparently that just means the entire universe would be okay now. T'Challa became the universe-wide known hero Star-Lord.
Star-Lord, I'm a huge fan of your work.
And was even able to sway Thanos away from evil with his silver tongue. T'Challa as Star-Lord was more of a positive role model, and definitely skilled in the fighting styles and weapons of the Ravagers. This T'Challa does not have the powers of the heart-shaped herb, but he is still skilled enough to be known as one of that universe's most powerful heroes. He's so strong, in fact, that the Watcher chose him to be one of his guardians of the multiverse. Overall, this version of T'Challa became extremely impactful to the world around him, and definitely has a sneakier fighting style than his role as the Black Panther, but he still finds a way to continually get the job done. In the Spider Island event, we met many heroes who had gained the powers of our favorite webhead Spider-Man. Not only did Black Panther have spider powers along with his additional set, but he went through a form of mutation that really gave villains no chance. He grew an extra 4 arms and quite literally resembled a spider in the Black Panther suit. Some of the strength and reflexes were nothing new to the Black Panther, but his additional wall-crawling, web-swinging abilities made him one of the briefest yet most powerful versions of the King of Wakanda. When the glorious moment of the Marvel and DC crossover happened in comics, fans combed through the pages to see which of their favorite characters had combined into one. This event created such powerhouses like Darkclaw and Thor-El. It also allowed the King of Wakanda to merge with DC's Bronze Tiger. With the strength and ferocity of a literal tiger, this combination remained the ruler of Wakanda, giving an extremely powerful DC character the weapons and resources of a truly advanced civilization. Overall, the Bronze Tiger combination can be seen fighting against some of the strongest characters and still coming out on top. I just hope next time they come up with a better nickname? Bronze Panther, maybe? Not sure why they just kept the same name, but to each their own. Azzuri was the father of King T'Chaka, and therefore T'Challa and Shuri's grandfather, who led Wakanda through a difficult time in world history. The reigning Black Panther during World War II, Azzuri led the nation of Wakanda through a world at war, and protected it from the likes of Baron Strucker and the Red Skull, who believed Wakandan vibranium would help their efforts. Azzuri has all the same powers granted to generations of Black Panthers who take the heart-shaped herb, including peak physical strength, speed, and stamina, as well as a connection to the knowledge of an entire lineage of Black Panthers. Azzuri in particular is gifted with the ability of necromancy, meaning he actually has the ability to control the dead, a power rarely seen in other Black Panthers.
We don't do that here.
Overall, Azzuri is probably the best grandfather you could ask for, or at least the coolest. The Black Panther from the Ultimate Universe is one of the coolest takes on the character. In this universe, M'Baku was T'Challa's older brother, and he sought desperately to prove he was more worthy than his brother to take his father's place. T'Challa fought a literal panther in ritual combat, but was severely injured when the jungle cat tore out his throat. In order to heal, T'Challa was brought to the Weapon X program, the same one responsible for turning Logan into the Wolverine. He was given real retractable claws, and made to be a living weapon. The government Operation SHIELD then used T'Challa as a master assassin, codenamed the Black Panther. Nick Fury took him under his wing, but after he lost his ability to speak and underwent a process that would mess up just about anyone, this version is a far yet powerful departure from the Black Panther we are familiar with. Several heroes have come and gone on the multi-dimensional traveling team known as the Exiles. This team travels from universe to universe trying to help those in whatever universe they find themselves in. This team has had multiple versions of the Black Panther, including one known simply as the Panther, but its most unique version is a hero simply known as King. King comes from the Old West, and is unlike any other version of the Black Panther you could imagine. King is a gunslinger. He uses vibranium bullets and has an aim that cannot be matched. While he lacks some of the staple Black Panther powers, he was still a great addition to the team. I'm starting to think 2099 wasn't the best year for a number of Marvel characters. Black Panther 2099 is a character known by the name of Kashamba, and while he is certainly a wise and effective ruler, he's definitely not the strongest version of the Black Panther. His martial arts skills are great, and his strength and acrobatics are the peak of human ability. But Black Panther 2099 did not take the heart-shaped herb, like so many of his predecessors, meaning he simply could not match strength with those who came before him. Without it, however, he is still a wise and benevolent ruler, and a well-regarded figure in the multiverse. He still isn't someone you would want to mess with without superpowers, and he was even able to use his fighting prowess to defeat Marvel icons such as Doctor Doom. Maybe Kashamba's just allergic to flowers or something? The more the merrier. Bring on every single version of the Black Panther, and you can call me a satisfied customer. Which alternate version of Wakanda's greatest warrior do you think is the most powerful? And which one should appear in the MCU?